What is up, gamers? Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the recap. Each and every week we break down all the top gaming esports stories, and we are ready to do it once again.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's freaking good to be back, guys, and we hope you all enjoy. Let's get on into it. And probably one of the weirdest premieres that I think I've ever seen for a game out there. In case you guys somehow missed the Call of Duty Vanguard premiere, there were so many angles to attack this one from. I guess I'll start with Call of Duty Pro players looking nice and snazzy, besides Symphony and Jowo, who apparently just showed up and didn't get the same dress code as everyone else. Another big thing was maybe some server issues ongoing throughout the event. I would say the biggest thing and biggest talking point are about people like Lil Jon and the host T-Pain. I mean, the whole night was absolute madness.
To me, it felt like, and maybe this is totally off point, but it felt like an early 2000s event somehow. Like having T-Pain and Lil Jon, I was like, where should Lil Wayne be here too? Like, what is going on? Why is this happening? I don't know.
And it was kind of like, it was halfway scuffed, but like in like a good way. Like everyone's obviously talking about it. If you guys missed the Lil Jon clip, I don't think, well, he actually later confirmed that he was drinking, but I don't know if he's ever played Call of Duty in his entire life, but everyone was still talking about him.
See it again,
no,
Maven.
it's Patrol.
Yeah,
No.
it was pretty incredible.
Jeez.
But all right, hey, map number 2. Game number 2, we're going to hop on in right now. It's going to be some Desert Siege action. Look at all the wind, Maven. It's just moving around.
Well, this one, I've been excited to see. I haven't personally played Patrol yet, but Hardpoint has been.
Well, I imagine a lot of celebrities like these guys, I mean, you hear it all the time from especially sports athletes, which we've seen more and more, but especially I feel like we've seen some music artists I can't think of off the top of my head who say like, yeah, like in our in-between time we'll just, you know, hop on Call of Duty for a match or play some 2K or football, something like that, you know? And so it's not a surprise. I feel like these guys have probably interacted with it, but then they're beside these legends who play it all day, every day. It's just a weird contrast.
Yeah, certainly probably paid a hefty amount of money to put on all of this. Great entertainment. I would say great connections when it came time for celebrities and rappers and artists that actually were there. And then alongside that, you introduce all of your pro players. I would say, you know, a good showcase of the game to end it on. I don't think I saw anything that blew me away. T-Pain had some stellar confidence. The fact that he told everyone to pre-order and to pre-cum the game.
I hope you all enjoyed the world premiere of Call of Duty Vanguard. Pre-order, preload, pre-cum. Yo, that's all I got for you tonight.
Which is something I've never heard a host ever say, and I don't know if T-Pain will ever say it again for Call of Duty. So a lot of back and forth for Call of Duty Vanguard. I think the most hyped up thing is going to be the anti-cheat, and waiting to see if it actually works.
I think the only thing I'll say, and we can end it on maybe, is just in the words of our savior, Doug Sensor Martin, these are the best multiplayer maps we've ever seen.
I would say my favorite story from this past week, because we saw some fiery tweets from it, that being Trainwrecks calling out EA for hypocrisy as they apparently restricted him from participating in Nickmercs Apex event for his Twitch gambling streams.
My manager got a phone call, you know, from EA, from Apex. You know, it's just not the they don't want him involved. Point blank period, you know. So.
And if you guys did not see the tweets about this, he offered to double down and host a Knicks event for him with a bigger prize pool. He also called out EA for a whole host of things, including the reason why he was not allowed to participate. And it was just, I mean, the whole community saw this one.
It's just, we've talked about this before, but it's just hilarious when you have people going out of their way, and it must be someone who had a bone to pick with Train, because they went out of their way to say, hey, we don't want you in this tournament because of what you stand for, more or less. And then you look on the other side of the curtain, it's like, wait a second, don't you guys run your entire business off of gambling?
No,
don't you make so much money?
It's just a good portion of their business,
Just
okay?
the large majority of it.
Hey, Apex packs for heirlooms and FIFA packs are not gambling, dude.
People have gone so broke on Apex packs. It's actually unreal. And I mean, getting into FIFA packs is like a whole nother level of it.
Yeah, of extreme. But either way, it's actually Trainwrecks calling out EA, and he even mentioned that he'd been paid by EA previously $150,000 for 4 hours, which just makes me want to just go cry.
Right.
And it's awesome to see that he's calling them out. But, you know, it's crazy because I just don't think a single person, could be wrong, I don't think anyone watching Nickmercs Apex Legends event would have been like, why is Train here? That's not allowed.
Yeah.
Like, I understand there's controversy around Twitch gambling, totally get that. But when it comes time for EA being the one to implement this kind of rule, it just seems absurd.
Well, I also don't think, to your point, that anyone is going to watch Trainwrecks in a Nickmercs Apex stream and go gamble because they saw Train in it. They're like, oh, that's the gambling guy. I should go gamble. You know, I just don't think that's gonna happen. So it seems like a weird ban.
Like, if anything, they're gonna watch him playing Apex and they're go, I might open some freaking boxes here. I might open some packs.
Right.
So either way, EA Games versus Trainwrecks. Nickmercs gave a subtle response to this. It seems he's gonna keep on being partnered with EA, and we'll see if maybe they allow Train in the next one down the road. A pretty giant story from this past week. I encourage you guys to go check out our videos on this, as there's a giant ongoing situation for Twitch money laundering. The premise being, I think we've already talked about this probably a couple of times, either on the podcast or videos, is several Twitch streamers, well, according to Coco from VLR, it's actually 300 streamers, personalities, even some Valorant players in the Turkish space maybe being implicated by this, approached by scammers saying, hey, we got this dirty money either acquired through illegally botting ads on Twitch to get these bits or through stolen credit cards. I don't think the streamers were maybe made aware of where the money was coming from, but they say, we're going to give you this much, you give this much back to us, boom, the money has now been cleaned. It's the biggest scandal we've talked about in a long time.
With a lot of big teams involved, as well as some big names. I think the one we talked about the most, obviously, being cNed and everything that happened there. Bit of an interesting situation where you have people saying, oh, he was involved with this laundering, and now he comes out, and translation issues maybe a little bit because he speaks, I don't know what the language is, Turkish, I'll say.
Most people in Turkey. Oh, thanks.
Okay, great. Just thank God that is a language. So a little bit of translation issues, but him saying, man, this could have been phrased a little bit differently when responding to some articles out there. And what we come to find out, we see a send address it and say, yes, he was involved, but he didn't participate necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to break down both statements right now. Go check out Upcomer's article on this, where there is involvement there to cNed. Now, the extent of his involvement is currently unknown. Ascend, I would say TLDR, go check out their Twitter post, has pretty much been like, oh, we're waiting for more information on Twitch. You know, he did accept money, but never had direct communication. And if I'm being honest, there's a hairy line there between what came out with Upcomer, what he admitted on stream, and what Ascend is now saying. It seems that they are now putting the priority, or, you know, really the person who has to pursue this, Twitch, which they probably know is going to be dragged out a long time, and the specificity of, like, you know, how he was involved, it's going to take ages to find out. But beyond just cNed, we're talking about dozens of other Valorant players and hundreds of other streamers, and this story is going to be a long time going. I know I've talked to people behind the scenes of other regions where this might be going on. We are talking about $10 million of dirty money. I don't know what exactly, millions going through Twitch. So we're going to be waiting for more responses out there. The biggest money laundering scandal Twitch has likely ever seen, and it's still ongoing. I would say one of the more interesting ends we have seen to a case out there, and you guys probably have your own thoughts on this, that being the end of Reflect.
Reflect is no longer. We officially separated without a lawsuit. And they pulled all the products out of 400 stores. Yeah. So that happened. It was a clean break. Took a long time, the lawyers and stuff, but we did it.
And man, oh man, what a story that's been going on for the past 2.5 weeks is all it took for all of this to arise. They have now issued their final statements of that product being shut down. I didn't like the wording of it. There were no apologies. There was some particular wording that was just kind of weird, because we all know, according to Ray, that the research couldn't be made public, but she had apparently seen it. And then very lastly, we have Ray speaking out around this as well, now in therapy, and the downside of having to deal with all of this stuff on top of it.
I'll say, after making the video the other day, I guess it was yesterday as of recording, about this, I can tell people definitely did not love the last video that she posted, or when she talked on stream about it, especially because of those 2 points that you actually made. One being that there was no real apology thrown in there. A lot of the blame ends up being placed on external factors, and she doesn't really take a whole lot of ownership over it. And also, of course, to each their own, but people feeling a little bit weirded out by her bringing up the whole mental health stuff and saying, oh, are you playing the victim card now at this point?
I have mental damage from all of this, for sure.
And so it's a sticky situation. Of course, we're not going to put that on anybody here or mess around with that. But it just seems like a strange ending to it all. She says it's a clean break. She says that there's no lawsuits involved, but like, what do you? Is all that reflect just in dumpsters now? Like, what happened to all the millions and millions of dollars?
I want some because the blue light is still out there.
Right? When I go outside, I want it all over me.
But I honestly do not think there was malintent from Ray. I think she was misled, and unfortunately so, the team around her, a big learning lesson. I will say, honestly, I'm glad there's a clean break. I'm glad she's not being sued, because what we had heard, that could be obviously very bad. She was breaking a contract, maybe not rightfully so. I just wish, and this is maybe a community thing that people have kind of gotten used to, of people really, at the end of the day, there's one primary thing. There's a lot of explaining that had to be done, but all you had to do was say what you said and say, I'm sorry. And as far as I'm aware, that those words were never said. You know, even when you look at someone like former FaZe K, right? Apology was empty, but it's something almost like you have to say it. Like, it was a pretty big scandal that you did partake in, and people spent money on something that maybe not was legit. Just say I'm sorry, and it would have been wiped. It would have been totally washed. People would have forgotten a week when something else big happens.
I have to imagine moving on from this, and she even says that she probably won't be getting into anything too quickly from now on. You know, just holding off for a little while, and maybe not being, as she calls it, so impulsive about things and so trusting. So we'll see where she goes from here.
Yeah, a lot of critique coming her way, but hopefully we'll move on from this one. Valkyrae and Reflect have now parted ways, and Reflect has now shut down. Little tongue twister end this recap out for you guys. Warzone drama. Yeah, it's going to keep on continuing unless there is an anti-cheat, which we hope freaking works. But the last dance in Verdansk, I am so surprised. I've had some freaking good tongue today.
I'm impressed you got that one, to be honest.
But another Warzone event to end things before we see the release of Vanguard, and hopefully sometime in the next coming weeks, of course, the release of the anti-cheat. And yeah, it was definitely met with suspicion and accusations. Of course, what other way to end Warzone events before the anti-cheat does come out? It was actually a player who was accused, I believe, by Scumman, had suspicion. And then, of course, what ensued was a pause of the entire event, which leads to every other participant then reviewing the same clip and giving their take on it. Tim, Tommy, all the boys doing the same.
And speaking of hard things to say, his name, I believe, was Osvam.
That's why I left it out.
I know. And so getting to see this, it was just wild, because we see this clip. If you guys didn't watch the video, brief breakdown. We see the clip. People get freaked out by how he pre-aimed in the gulag, and then they say, oh, let's check his task manager, which I know a lot of people are saying, hey, that doesn't show anything. A lot of people in the comments are scientists, apparently. I didn't know that, but apparently task manager does not show cheats. But regardless, they could not see the task manager that he had up on stream on his monitors on the monitor cam. And so people started freaking out. That led to the whole 1 hour delay that everyone had to sit through. And I mean, I saw so many streamers who were like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to play anymore. You know, like, I just lost all motivation for the rest of this tournament.
That's the clip that's getting circulated here? Wait, Whips, are you fucking serious?
Is it bad?
It's nothing. The fuck are we doing here?
Plus, you got a lot of people out there that don't know what confirms what, and even some of the people that accuse that. I mean, we've seen with people like Z and Mutex and Joe and Biffle and every single top, and Aiden, nobody knows exactly what confirms someone as a cheater until they're actually caught by the game, which can't catch you. So at the end of the day, the ruling was made that he was not cheating.
Correct.
But it's crazy that we just, like, it's so wild to think about. No other esport out there pauses an entire event for an hour or more where everyone just speculates, oh yeah, you cheating or not. It's just it's wild.
Well, I think it just sucks overall that this even has to be a thing where we are having to wait through these times to see if someone's cheating or not. It's like, no, he was just good.
Like, imagine there's a CSGO event and someone hits a nasty flick and everyone's like, wait, pause. Valve, like, no, you just trust the system in place, and you trust the players that are playing and competing. So maybe it's just a Warzone thing, and hopefully with an anti-cheat, this clears some things up. I highly doubt it, but yes, Last Dance in Verdansk had a little drama and controversy this past week. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the recap. Hunter, you do the outro, dude.
We'll see you guys later. There might be a little bit of a teaser in this room. I teased it last week, but we didn't have the items that we needed to announce something.
You're so teasy.
This week. And so we'll keep teasing you guys along, but we'll catch you later.
Okay, bye.